Hello, everybody, and welcome to IC Markets Market Commentary. My name is Tamar Mer from Trade with Precision, and today I want to take a look at some strong support and resistance level on a couple of index market, and I also want to compare those levels and the quality of the trend on those markets to what we looked at last week on Aussie Yen and CAD Yen, because that affect how I look at those levels and also how I trade around them. So I want to start with the DAX, the Germany 40, and the level here is around the 14,200 area. And we can see on the way up, we found this as support, tried to go lower, couldn't go lower, pushed higher again, and then went through it, made a lower low on the daily chart, and really tried to go around it, but ever since going sideways. Now, yesterday we had some strong bullish momentum at the opening of the market, and we tried to break above it and rejected. Now let's look at the moving averages. We can see that the 10 and the 20 have crossed over, but the 50 not yet. And really, when we look at it as a big picture, we can see that we are stuck in a range around this 14,600 to the bottom part around the 13,800. Now, if we take a look here on the weekly, what we can spot on the weekly is that we had here on the pullback an indecision candle and a break above it. So potentially this could be the next higher low. So we might see the market coming up and retest this level. And if we remember from the daily, that was the top of the range. But really, for me to actually call a bit more of a bullish push on this market, I'd like to see it above that 15,000 area. You can see many touches at that level as support, broke it, tested it from below, and really trending below it. So really for a more bullish sort of move, I'm looking at that level, but that is much higher time frame. Now going back into the daily, I'm looking really at interaction with that level. If we pull back below that level and break this again decisively above this high, then I'll be looking for long opportunities as we going up to the top of this range. However, we could spend a bit more time around that area. For a short opportunities, I'm looking at this level, the 13,800, for a decisive break. So that's on the higher time frame. Now, if we'll go back to what we've seen last week on Aussie Yen and on CAD Yen, and to remind you, we were at this area, so in the midst of this pullback, and we were looking at this level of support and resistance on Aussie Yen around the 91, and on CAD Yen, we were looking here around the 99. And what we can see here, and just compare the movement and the strength of that level, we can see that support level that we spoke of at the 91. We had another touch here just before we broke lower, and then we pull back to test it really on the nose from below. We could also were able to draw the Fibonacci retracement. We had a nice trend here. We had a good clustering of the Fibonacci retracement with that level, and we can see the reaction to that level. If we look at the momentum indicators, they're converging to the downside, and we also have the moving averages fanning and in the correct order, which can imply a stronger downward move. Same idea in CAD Yen as well. We already had an established downtrend in this area, so we had a pullback. Even though this is a similar look to what we've seen on the daily on the DAX, that break was very strong and a pullback within a downtrend, which we haven't had yet, or not yet looking so strong on the DAX. So it's a bit of a different. This level is still very strong, which is why I'm not looking yet for bullish moves. I want to see more signs that the buyers are in control. If we look at the lower time from here, we can see that after the opening and the strong push that we had, we basically are going sideways. Now, the levels on the US market are quite similar here. So this is the Dow, and just because we are touching around here at that level, it looks slightly stronger than the other. The S&P looks the same. We'll have a look, but you can see again we are going sideways. So we could see a break, but for a long opportunity, I want to see a decisive break and a close above that level for a potential pullback to test that level from above and a continuation. But once again, if we move into the higher time frame, we can see those area around here. This is the stronger level that we'll need to break in order to look a bit more bullish. Similar idea on the S&P. So here is the level around the 3900, and you can see plenty of touches at that level in the past. So again, if we'll break and decisively close above it, we will look more bullish, but for a longer term bullish movement, we'll need to go above this area. Now, for a downward momentum, so a more bearish index market, then my favorite at the moment are the Nasdaq and the Russell 2000. So let's take a look at those. So the levels here on the Nasdaq, you can see it's not a precise level. We'll have a look at the Russell. It's a bit more precise there. With the touch here is a little bit lower and then a little bit higher, and so far we're sitting right here. But the momentum is to the downside at the moment. And if we'll take a look at the higher time frame, what we can see pullback and these touches over here, we're simply working out the overextension on the higher time frame. And really what we've got is a very nice downtrend here on the monthly chart. We had to work out this level over here, the previous higher low that we had on the monthly chart. So next line of defense is in and around that 10,000 to 9800. So looking for potential pushes toward that area. With the Russell, I really like the level of around here, that 1720. We can see here the touches are more precise. Potential short opportunity, I like to see a consolidation on this level and a potential break and continuation of the higher time frame move. We'll have a look at the higher time frame here. We can see it's a lot more bearish than what we've seen on the Dow or the S&P, and I'm looking for another touch around this 1640 level. And we can see also this indecision candle here on the weekly chart, so a bit of a fight around this area between the buyers and the sellers, eating all the buyer orders, potentially see a break and a continuation. But all of these opportunities are actually lower time frame entries into higher time frame support and resistance level. So looking for triggers around those areas, but keeping in mind that those levels are quite strong, and until we see a decisive move around those levels, we can also see a rejection of that level, and the market is still consolidating around them. Happy trading, everyone. Wishing you a happy new year, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.